Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. In this top 10 list is about an actor I really enjoy, and an actor that should be doing more movies. He's still doing movies, but he should do more because he's a great actor, and that is Kevin Costner. Yes, I'm a Kevin Costner fan. I don't know if anyone knew that, but I enjoy Kevin Costner's movies, and I thought I'd do a top 10 on my personal favorite Kevin Costner movies. And let's just get right into it. Here's my top 10 personal favorite Kevin Costner movies. And for a top 10 list, you gotta have your 5 honorable mentions. And my 5 honorable mentions for Kevin Costner's movies are Open Range, McFarlane USA, Silverado, Tin Cup, American Flyers. All great films. They just couldn't make the top 10 list. But what did make my top 10 was my number 10. And my number 10 is Draft Day. Yes, Draft Day is a pretty recent film, actually. It just came out last year, and I really like this movie. This was another really underrated movie of last year, and it was a good movie. It's just about Kevin Costner's character. He's a general manager of a football team, and he's trying to pick the perfect players for the draft, because this is draft day. This is one of the biggest days in the NFL. And yeah, it's a really good story. I really was invested with this movie. Kevin Costner's performance was really good. And he also had some other good performances, from like Jennifer Garner. Even a small performance by Tom Welling, he was good. Chadwick Boseman, he was good. And even the small performances by P. Diddy and Terry Crews, they were good. I was just invested in this movie. I enjoyed the characters, and I enjoyed the small story of it, and I just loved just seeing all these coaches, managers, and owners all fighting for the draft and picking these players. It was just a good story, and it was thrilling in its own way. It was thrilling, like, how they, like, manipulate each other and how they, like, try to screw each other to get the best players, and I just really liked this movie. It was a very good film. Ivan Reitman directed this movie, and it's definitely not Ivan Reitman's best movies, but it is a solid movie. I like Draft Day. Very underrated movie of 2014, and check it out if you have not seen it. It's a good movie. Coming at number 9 is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Yes, I would actually love to call this movie a guilty pleasure, but honestly, I actually do think this movie is genuinely a good movie. I really like this movie. I like this Robin Hood movie. Actually, like my favorite Robin Hood movies are like the old school Robin Hood movies with Errol Flynn. I think he's the best Robin Hood. No one can beat Errol Flynn as Robin Hood. But Kevin Costner came close. Russell Crowe, not at all. And I didn't like the Disney version, the Disney animated Disney movie of Robin Hood. I wasn't a fan of that movie. And the Russell Crowe one, god awful. But I really like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I thought he was a great Robin Hood. I love Kevin Costner as Robin Hood. And yeah, I love the portrayals of Lil Jon and Marion and the Sheriff of Nottingham, played by Alan Rickman. Yes, the badass villain, Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman is great as a villain. Put Alan Rickman as a villain in every action movie or any drama, adventure movie, any villain, Alan Rickman can do it. And I just really like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I think this is a very good movie. The action's good, the adventure's good, the story's very loyal to the original source material, and I think Kevin Costner is just a really good Robin Hood. And also, you got freaking Morgan Freeman in the movie. He's really good. And of course, Alan Rickman's awesome. I love that witch in the movie. She's pretty awesome. How she dies, awesome. Pretty hilarious, but pretty awesome. And yeah, I'm just really invested in this movie. Yeah, this movie does have a lot of nostalgia to me because I did love this movie. I loved this movie as a kid, and I always used to watch it, and I still to this day watch it. It's just a really fun movie. It's just a lot of fun. And that's why I really like it. And I actually do think it's a pretty decently directed movie. And a very well acted movie. And yeah, I love Kevin Costner in this movie. One of my favorite movies of his. Love Robin Hood. Coming at number 8 is A Perfect World. Yes, A Perfect World. This is a Clint Eastwood movie, directed by Clint Eastwood. And it doesn't star Clint Eastwood, it actually stars Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner in this movie plays a guy who broke out of prison, and when he breaks out of prison, he tries to steal a car. But when he robs the car from the person's house, he has to have leverage, so he kidnaps this woman's son and takes him with him in this car, and he goes on like a little mini road trip with this kid. Basically, his kid is like a hostage, so he can like get past the border and, have his freedom and everything, and then he let the kid go. Because Kevin Costner, he may sound like the villain in this movie. Actually, he's actually pretty likable in this movie, and the relationship between him and the young kid is actually a nice little story, and sometimes it comes off a little weird and kind of creepy, but it's not meant to. It's not meant to. It just comes off a little bit that way, because maybe it's because the time zone this movie was in. It was in the early 90s, and I guess as a 90s movie, I can buy it, but if you do a movie like this in like the 2010s, it come off as a little weird. Some of the stuff they talk about and some of the stuff they do in this movie. I won't spoil it, but it's weird. It's really weird. But Kevin Costner, is fantastic in this movie. He's so good. Clint Eastwood is awesome. Clint Eastwood's direction in this movie is very good. And I really do like this movie. I remember my dad showed me this movie when I was like 12, and I just really, really liked it. And it's a movie I have to watch every now and then because it's a great movie and a very underrated movie. So yeah, Perfect World. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a good one. Coming number 7 is 13 Days. Yes, I first watched this movie in my American history class. Yes, I did American history as well. This was my grade 12 American history. I did Canadian history, 20th century history. Then my final year of high school, I did American history. And we watched this movie when we were talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis. And this movie is about the Cuban Missile Crisis and about President JFK and his assistants and the vice president and everything. And Kevin Costner is in it, and he's one of the aides of John F. Kennedy. And John F. Kennedy is played by Bruce Greenwood, who does a phenomenal job. He's really good in this movie, and the tension in this movie is just so well done. It's so well executed and so well directed. I love this movie. I watched this movie in my American history class, and I really, really liked it. I have not watched it ever since. I've only seen this movie once in that class, but I always remembered it, and I always really, really liked it. I loved the characters. I loved the acting. I loved how the story was executed, and I loved how it was directed. And it was really intense, and you're like, oh my god, what's going to happen? Well, I know my history. I know what's going to happen, but in that moment when you're watching the movie, what's going to happen? And it's a very good movie, very well directed, very well executed, and Kevin Costner is just awesome. Check this movie out. It's a fantastic movie. 13 Days. Good movie. Coming number 6 is Dances with Wolves. Yes, Dances with Wolves. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Dances with Wolves. But yeah, Dances with Wolves. Very good movie. It's not only starring Kevin Costner, it's written and directed by Kevin Costner. Yes, this is his own little movie. This is all Kevin Costner. This movie is good because of Kevin Costner. Unless you hate this movie, then you hate it because of Kevin Costner. But I really like Dances with Wolves. This won his Oscar. Yay, he finally won an Oscar. Yes, he should have won an Oscar for a few other movies, which he never did. I'll get into those in my other, when I get a little lower. But I really like Dances with Wolves. I love the story. It's long. It's very, very long. This movie's like about 3 hours, 10 minutes. It's very long. And I get why people can't get into this movie because of its length, because some scenes just didn't need to be in the movie. But I still liked it. I liked the atmosphere. I loved how this movie was written and directed. I did enjoy most of the characters. Some of them didn't need to be in the movie. I think you'll know which characters I'm talking about if you've seen this movie. Like, was that necessary? Does this guy need to be in the movie? Did she even, why are these people in this movie? Kevin Costner steals this movie. His performance is amazing, and like I said, he wrote the script very well and directed it very well. And yeah, he won the Oscar for directing. Strange, but yeah, I still really like this movie. It was not the best picture of that year when Dances with Wolves won, but I still really, really liked it. I love the story, and I know a lot of movies have ripped this kind of story off a bajillion times. I know when this movie came out, Ferngully ripped it off, Pocahontas ripped it off, Avatar ripped it off, but this was one of the original movies that did this kind of story with the Indians and stuff, and, the guy meeting the Indians, fell in love with one of them, and everything, that kind of stuff, and it's a great movie. It's got a great message, great acting, great directing, awesome movie. Dances with Wolves, awesome. Coming number 5 is JFK. Yes, Oliver Stone's gritty JFK. This is about the assassination of John F. Kennedy. This movie starred Gary Oldman, Kevin Costner, Tommy Lee Jones, Helen Mirren, and this movie is fantastic. This is my 5th favorite Kevin Costner movie, and I really like this movie. I love the writing. Yes, this movie is about 3 hours and 40 minutes long, but it's worth it. It's so worth this. This movie is just fantastic. The writing is amazing. The direction is amazing. And if you're not into political movies, trust me, this is one of the best political movies you will watch. The realism is just absorbing. This movie just absorbs you in the times of the 1950s, between the costumes, the cinematography, the performances, the tone, and this movie is excellent. I love Oliver Stone's movies. This is one of his best ones. Actually, Wall Street's probably one of his best ones, but this is hands down his second best, and my 5th favorite Kevin Costner movie. Check it out if you've not seen JFK. It's amazing. Coming number 4 is The Untouchables. Yes, Brian De Palma's The Untouchables. Again, not the best Brian De Palma movie. It's not like Scarface or Blowout, but I love this movie. This is like one of the best movies about Al Capone, played by Robert De Niro, who iconically did a fantastic job. I love him. But this is about Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner plays Elliot Ness, the elite detective trying to go at Al Capone, and he's awesome in this movie. I love him as Elliot Ness. Sean Connery may have got the Oscar for supporting actor, but I always thought Kevin Costner should have got the lead role, the Academies, and because he was brilliant in this movie as Elliot Ness. And every time I picture, like, they can never remake this movie because Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, and Robert De Niro played the roles so freaking well, and it's just iconic. This movie, the style is iconic, the story's iconic, the direction, the writing, everything about this movie is so stylistic and it's just so amazing. I love The Untouchables, and one of the reasons why I love The Untouchables is because Kevin Costner as Elliot Ness, and I love this movie. Fantastic. Coming number 3 is No Way Out. Yes, to quote Chris Griffin from Family Guy, how come Kevin Costner keeps getting work? It's because he's a good actor. I know some people knock this movie. I don't know why. This movie's fantastic. This is a really good, intense thriller in the 1980s, starring Kevin Costner and Gene Hackman. Two amazing actors, and I love this movie. It's so freaking good. The acting is good. The thrills are good. I don't want to go into depth of this movie because there's a lot of twists and turns, and I don't want to spoil them. Just check this movie out. Do not listen to people. Listen to the critics on this one. This is about 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the ratings are 100% accurate, this movie. The writing is good, the direction's good, and Kevin Costner is awesome. So good. Love this movie. Coming number 2 is Field of Dreams. Yes, when I really think about this movie, it's really weird and messed up because he hears voices in his head, and what does he do? Oh, let's go build a baseball diamond because I hear voices in my head. That sounds like a story of a horror movie, not a drama, but it works. It still works. This is a very good movie. The acting is good. The atmosphere is breathtaking. And it did get nominated for a lot of Academy Awards. Did it win? No, it didn't. It got beat out by Driving Miss Daisy. As you saw my video for the top 10 movies I hate but everyone else likes, I fucking hate that movie. But yeah, I love Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams, 1989. Powerhouse year, mostly because of Field of Dreams. Field of Dreams is an amazing movie. It is the greatest baseball movie of all time. Is it my favorite baseball movie of all time? No, it is not. But it is one of the greatest sports movies and baseball movies I have ever seen. It's so good. Kevin Costner is such a likable and charming character. Again, the voices in the head, that's just weird, but it's still good. He's great. I love Ray Liotta as Shoeless Joe, and I love the baseball scenes, and I'm not even a baseball fan, but they're just exciting in this movie. You know, the games and everything. You're rooting for the team, rooting for all the players, and you're rooting for Kevin Costner. You want him to have a happy ending, because you feel so bad for the guy. You're like, come on, give this guy a happy ending. This guy really needs a break, and he's so good in this movie. This movie's really good. Everyone loves this movie, and of course it's number 2, and yeah, it's my second favorite Kevin Costner movie. And my number 1 favorite Kevin Costner movie is Bull Durham. Yes, a lot of people say Field of Dreams is the best baseball movie. It's not. Bull Durham is my favorite baseball movie. I know it's debatable. Oh, Field of Dreams has the better writing, better story, better direction. I think Bull Durham's just better because it's just a lot more fun. It's hilarious. This movie, I laugh my ass off every time I watch this movie. It is a very well-written movie and a very compelling movie. And all the characters for a comedic movie are all three-dimensional characters. And I love Kevin Costner as the character Crash. And he's just such a hilarious and very charming character. And I love his chemistry with Susan Sarandon. And Susan Sarandon is actually the best actor in this movie. And it's not even about her, but she's just such a good actress. And she just has such a commanding presence in this movie. And of course Tim Robbins is in this movie and he's hilarious. The jokes in this movie are just so freaking funny. And every time I watch this movie, I always find a new joke in this movie. There's always something new and fresh about this movie every time I watch this movie. And again, I'm not a baseball fan, but this movie kind of makes me a baseball fan. I still don't watch baseball, trust me, but I love baseball movies, and this is the reason why, because movies like Bull Durham. Bull Durham is very funny, it's very well written, and very well acted, especially by the three leads, Kevin Costner, Tim Robbins, and Susan Sarandon. I know some people are like, why is this your favorite Kevin Costner movie? Well, it's because it's a lot more fun, and it has nostalgia for me, and just means a lot more to me than a lot of these other movies. And again, it's just a personal favorite of mine, and yeah, I love Bull Durham. It's a fun movie, and it's a fun baseball movie, and it's my favorite Kevin Costner movie. I love it. Check it out if you've not seen it. So yeah, that was my top 10 favorite Kevin Costner movies. So yeah, comment below, give me your top 10 favorite Kevin Costner movies. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.